Hey there, Jen McKinnon here, and today I'm diving into colour psychology. So what is colour psychology? Well, colours can have a powerful impact on our emotions, and as a result, can affect how we behave as consumers. Colour psychology is the science behind that, and understanding it can help you make deliberate colour decisions in your creative projects that will have a genuine impact on your audience. Today, we're going to take a look at some of the top colours that could affect your audience, their mood, and their actions. But before we get into the individual colour analysis, I better mention that this video is brought to you by Envato Elements, a subscription-based library full of all the digital creative assets you could ever wish for. With a subscription, you can download anything you want as many times as you want to get your creative projects done better and faster. Check out the link below for a special offer from the Envato Elements team. You can find a link to a collection of Envato Elements items in the description below for each of the colours profiled today. Now that's out of the way, let's get into it with our first colour. Fiery reds have long been used as visually stimulating signals, from warning signs to Valentine's Day cards, and there's a reason for that. They evoke a sense of emotional intensity, whether intense love and passion in a romantic scenario, or intense urgency to warn of impending danger. And science backs it up, showing that red actually reduces analytical thinking and speeds up our natural primitive instincts. It's been proven in practice too. Athletes up against opponents wearing red are more likely to lose, and students exposed to red before an exam generally perform worse than those who weren't. But there are positive effects too. Red inspires spontaneity and encourages us to follow our impulses, which is why red is so often used in design for sales and promotions. Blue, on the other hand, is calm and serene, and not surprisingly, the most common favourite colour for people across the globe. It gives a sense of stability and control, which is why so many big businesses use the hue in their branding. Blue can also stimulate productivity by soothing the mind into a state of focus. Ironically, classic blue was Pantone's colour of the year for 2020, but unfortunately the serenity, relaxation and reliability that the colour stands for never quite eventuated in the real world. You can check out the last decade of Pantone colours of the year in our video roundup linked below. Ripe buttercups and sunflowers, fresh lemons, and sunshine probably spring to mind when you think of the colour yellow. This happy hue is the lightest on the spectrum, so it's no wonder yellows are so uplifting. Yellow can signal creativity, innovation, and optimism, but also has a darker side. The colour has one of the longest wavelengths on the spectrum, and as a result, it's actually one of the hardest colours to take in. So hard, in fact, that the sight of it can make some babies cry. It's also often associated with anxiety, irrationality, and cowardice. Yellow is the most visible colour. It's attention-grabbing, especially in high-contrast settings, which is why yellow features prominently in traffic signage, warning labels, post-it notes, and advertising. One of the Pantone colours of 2021 is Illuminating, a bright yellow shade. You can read all about it and its colour of the year counterpart, Ultimate Grey, in our blog linked in the description below. Reassuring and grounding, green is the colour of balance, which is fitting as it sits right in the centre of the colour spectrum. Associated with nature, health, and freshness, green joins blue with its calming and restful effects. Green is also linked to growth and prosperity, which makes it a very hopeful hue. But it's not all lush gardens and crisp vegetables. Green can also represent envy and jealousy, and isn't just associated with good health, it can also be used to signify illness. The colour green is the easiest on our eyes because it requires no adjustment when it hits the retina. In fact, green can actually improve vision, and it's used in night vision because our eyes can distinguish most of its shades. Green's restful and calming effects are used by performers who often wait in a green room to help them relax, and its links to health and nature are used in label design for organic products. Pink is a strong emotional colour and has historically been connected with stereotypically feminine associations like softness, kindness, nurture, and compassion. This is also why love and romance spring to mind in relation to this colour. But while usually considered a positive colour, pink can also have negative connotations: shallowness, flippancy, and immaturity. Overall, however, it's a colour of transformation and creativity, and is associated with self-respect, support, contentment, and tenderness. Physically, pink is a great mood regulator. It's been linked to reducing aggression and has been used in holding cells for savage criminals and even in the locker rooms of opposing teams to try to assuage violence in the match. In branding, pink is usually used to target women, but darker hues can also be seen in more eccentric designs intended for a broader audience, and for buttons and links in UI design as a way to catch the viewer's eye. White is not actually a colour, it's the absence of colour, and for that reason, it's a symbol of purity and innocence. Representing a new slate, white has a strong association with freshness, cleanliness, and new beginnings. However, white can also be seen as a negative, with connections with sterility, emptiness, and isolation. White has also become a symbol of simplicity, sophistication, and style, and brands like Apple, Adidas, and Chanel have adopted white as their signature logo colour to align their brands with the chic, slick, minimal aesthetic. The inverse of white, black is the absence of light, and as we know, we need light for colour to exist. With ominous overtones, black can be quite a morbid shade, symbolising evil, darkness, suffering, and death, and inspiring feelings of oppression and mourning. But black can also be a symbol of power, sophistication, tradition, and steadfastness. In design, black signifies timelessness. It's a symbol of effortless style in fashion, and with the introduction of dark mode, black has also become popular in web design as a way to create space. You can learn all about dark mode and its impact on UI in our web design trends roundup linked in the description below. Grey is another one of Pantone's colours of the year for 2021, representing firm foundations and dependability. Evoking feelings of composure, steadiness, and resilience, grey provides a crisp slate on which bold concepts thrive. It's come to be known as a modern and sophisticated shade and can evoke feelings of power and sophistication, working well for luxury brands and tech companies alike. However, the bleak neutrality and subtlety of grey can be both a strength and a weakness in design. If used to excess, grey can be monotonous and boring, overwhelming the viewer with apathy. But when used cleverly, grey can bring harmony to your designs and send messages of strength and intelligence. The colour of wealth and success, gold can signal achievement and triumph. The shimmering shade implies affluence, and as a result is highly associated with luxury, sophistication, and extravagance. Illuminating everything around it, gold is an optimistic colour that serves as a beacon of wisdom, knowledge, and wealth. In astrology, gold is considered to have a masculine energy through the power of the sun, as opposed to silver, which is tied to feminine energy and the sensitivity of the moon. In addition, gold is associated with spirituality, inspiring knowledge, and coming to deeply understand the self and the soul. While gold speaks of generosity, wisdom, and enlightenment, it can also come across as showy, ostentatious, and even a bit tacky. But nevertheless, it has topped Envato's colour trends 3 years running. You can take a look at our colour trends video via the description below. So there you have it, colour psychology in a nutshell. For more information on each of the colours covered today, be sure to check out our colour psychology blog post linked in the description below. Have you intentionally used any of the colours profiled in your design projects? If you have, let us know what for and if it had the desired effect in the comments below. If this video was helpful, don't forget to hit the like button so we know to keep producing more content like this. And subscribe to the Envato YouTube channel to stay up to date with our latest content. That's all for now, but if you're keen to stick around, click the thumbnail at the top right of your screen to watch the next video selected just for you. See you next time.